Welcome back to Total Line with me, Adrian Mann. My guest today is the BKB British Lightweight Champion. He's fighting for the world title this Sunday at BKB 31. It's, of course, James Connelly. James, how you doing?
I'm fine, you Adrian, yeah? Nice to meet you, mate.
Now, we're finally seeing this fight. You were meant to fight at BKB 29 in December. It didn't happen for whatever reason. But talk to me what that experience was like.
Oh, mate, you're horrible it was. You know what? I tried to get myself out of it, like, not even think about it. Really doing well, you got to understand. Just before that happened, it was Christmas, and I thought, right, I'll get this world title, start Christmas with it, Christmas with a good sort of feeling, but it was just down. The whole lot of it was down. Like, throughout my whole fighting career, I've never experienced that. Like, even ABA championships and stuff when I was younger, like, we fought. I never got to that point of actually warming up, getting ready to have a fight with months of training. And then now before, the thing gets cooled off, like, or, never did before. It was horrible, but I had to literally just crack on with things, forget about it. Just crack on with my training, It's usually as motivation, to be honest.
It must have been quite mentally taxing on you. How do you get back into training after something like that?
You know what it was? I've done 3 months training camp for that. That was like 12 weeks of hard work, and then there was no fights. So the reasonable thing to do is have a break. So I had the break. I had 4 weeks off. So I had the 4 weeks off, and as I'm doing these 4 weeks, you just feel like absolute shit. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't fought, you got nothing to celebrate. Christmas is here, everyone's happy, you're not. I mean, this is how I was feeling at the time. And you start having a little bit of alcohol and stuff like that. It started going worse then, Think about it more. But the best thing that could happen is let's get the fight back on, let's get back into a training camp and get this fight over and done with, So I had the 4 weeks off, and then what I'd done, I jumped straight back into camp for I've done 9 weeks on this one. And it sort of just rolled into each other. I started feeling better after the first week of back to training. So the 3 months that I'd done before, I'd actually come back into my fitness. And you know what I'm trying to say? I never lost it. So it might have done me good. And I believe that me going in the second time, I'm better than I was the first time. Not just skill wise, how I feel. Because I'll say this right now, going into that last fight, I had a hole in my eardrum from sparring. I had a hole in my eardrum, and I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to ever, I'll never put out a fight. I have to have one hand missing or one leg missing for me to put out a fight. But I had that issue going on, but now I haven't, and this camp's been plain sailing, no injuries. I've been absolutely fine. So I expect them better me this time. So with all that went on, and with all of it being hard fixing on the brain and the body, I use it as motivation for the training to come and do this again, So it might win a day in my favour, you never know.
And I suppose with a longer camp, you not only have that time to kind of develop physically, but also, I suppose, is there kind of like an added anticipation for this fight because you weren't able to fight before, and now it's finally happening.
Yeah, you don't understand. The last 6 months, right, when this fight comes, in the last 6 months, I would have been in training camp for 5 of them. So I've never had to try 5 months for a fight before, and I've never had to do this before. So, anticipate. People who are close to me will tell you right now that I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. I am. I have to start on right now. I'm just with one of my pals who's next to me now. We're about to go to the spa, so I can go and get some bit of a bit of time alone, so to speak. But I have to stay away from people, mate. To be honest with you, so the anticipation is there.
So you're still training with the McCrackens. Talk to me about the impacts they have in your training camps and how have they made you a better fighter?
Do you know what? I just needed some time spent on me, I needed the right information at the right time. And I'm a good learner, and I'm a good listener. I do listen, How it actually came about is obviously me and my brothers have our own gym, and they needed a gym to come and train while I was finding their own. They've now got their own gym, so they come to my gym, contacted me, and started training for close to a year. And I'm seeing these people, the quality lads anyway, the dad, the quality man, and the son's quality as well. And then I started doing bits of training with them. And then for that year that was at my gym, I just stuck with them. And the reason why I made me a better fighter, they put the time into me, you see. I mean, and they've got their own professional fighters. So I started learning off them and what did their professional fighters start doing. And, and I've always done proper training camps. I always believe I've done proper training camps. But just being around them just made me want to be better, and want to listen. Anything that told me I wanted to do in the next bar, I've become a student again of the boxing, and that's why it's working so well at the moment.
Do you think you'll retire with the McCrackens as your trainers?
Yes, I won't move now. I won't move now. I ain't got, once I've like, years left in this game at all. But yeah, no, I won't move now. I'll stay within that. I've had my brother and the McCrackens trying me for a fight, if you know what I mean. I had a Porrick Madonna, the leading fight, so it's my brother and the McCrackens, realistically.
And of course, they've got you the British title. We can see the pride that you carry that around with you. What would a world title mean to you?
Oh, I'll probably go missing for about a month, you won't know what's going to go on when I win that world title. But it's big. It's a big, big, massive thing. You'll do a lot from a gym. I mean, me, yeah, then you know, yeah, put myself watch. I mean, do that for everyone else, like not in the gym and just doing lots more than what it would do for me, if you know what I mean. Like people come to my gym now and they can't wait to see the British belts behind the counter anymore, and they ask to have pictures with it and stuff like that. So, and that's with the British title, I had so much love from the British title. Imagine what the world's going to be like.
And say you do win the world title. A lot of fighters talk about how winning these titles is like the end goal, but for you, it's kind of just the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said in my interview before, I like to keep fresh in this game. You don't want to feel like you've done too much, you've done too little. Yeah, I like to keep fresh. Like every fight is a new fight to me. He's the bare knuckle fight. All of them are different. Yeah, and I don't want to be like people call me a legend and BKB this and that. And I'm like legend. Like this guy's only been in the game 4 years. Like I don't see myself as that. I don't see myself as a legend and stuff like that. I see myself as someone just trying to get somewhere in this game. I first started with the British. I got that. I've been in 2 prize fighter finals before, and now I'm going for the world. So I'm just trying to tick off things I can grab from this bed. Look, going for what I do, give it up, and then sail on into the distance. So
Say everything does go your way on the night and you do win the world title. What's next after that for you?
I don't know. We'll see what's next for him. I do need a rest. I think get this title, have a rest, and see what's what. And I'd like to go around the world. I see all these other fighters go to Dubai, go to Thailand. Dream. I'm going to Thailand next. Let me go to Thailand. Let me go and get a suntan in Dubai. I'm sure he'll sort it out. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to start moving about now. I mean, this is my 9th fight in London. So I do want to start moving about a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about your opponent. Marley's got great boxing pedigree. What do you know about him and what are you expecting him to bring on the night?
Just bring the boxing. He does say that he doesn't like to take a punch, but when saw him take a punch yet, we haven't saw him in them hard fights yet. He's had 3 and what's he 1, 2, draw 1 or something like that. It's a quality fight. He's a quality lad as well, But I don't look at this as world title and stuff. I look at this as I've got to go in the ring and a manager's going to try and put his hands on me. I've got to try and defend myself here. So forget about the world title. Forget about this. I've got to go in the ring and stop a person trying to put his hands on me. And that's how I look at this fight. I look at you ain't putting your hands on me, mate. I ain't going to allow you to, and with that, I've got to defend myself, So I try and take out all of that, the world title and being here and being this in the game. I literally go in there to defend myself.
Now, both of you are smart boxers, you're proficient boxers, and you're versatile fighters as well. What do you think is going to give you the edge in this fight?
My experience, right, the amount of fights that I've had, I've had 8 bare knuckle fights now. I've done 7 rounds, I've done 5 rounds. This guy's never done, but he's done 5 rounds, but he let it draw. But I see what he's like when he starts getting tired, and my experience will do most in this sort of fight. I'll the case of all the fights I've had already, I'll take it into this fight. This is another 7 rounders. I've done 2 7-rounders before, yeah. I've done 2 7-round fights before. I've done 2 5-round fights before. I've done 3 5-rounders, 2 7s, and a couple of 3s. So I'm experienced with the raves and stuff like that. But as I say, look, anything can happen at any time.
Do you have any kind of prediction on how you think the fight's going to go? Is it going to go the distance? Do you think you'll get a knockout?
Connelly win. I'm not thinking about anything else, and it's all in God's hands, I can't predict the future, I can say I'm going to win, but I'm not one of them fighters who I need to spruce myself up a little bit and tell everyone I'm going to do something to give myself, to put pressure on, I've trained hard. I've been in the fight camp religiously, I don't mess around in fight camp, it's all aimed to beat this guy, so I'm going to get there. I'm going to put everything I've been doing this training on that night. I'm looking on putting on my best performance that I've ever put on. And that is my aim and that is my mindset going into this fight. The best performance that I've ever put on. I keep on telling myself that. Hopefully it happens.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey into BKB. I think you've spoken before about how BKB sort of met you at a crossroads in your life. Tell me a little bit about that and how that relationship with Jim and Joe developed.
Well, I got out of prison in 2014. And you know what it's like. You don't want to get in trouble anymore. I was looking for jobs to start doing all that. And it just wasn't working for me, you know. Like, I couldn't stand it, you know. I couldn't stand working for someone else, to be honest with you. So I started training at the local gym, the one that me and my brothers own now. And I was just a member there, just paying like everyone else, you know, 20 quid a month, paying like I had to go training for my first free bare knuckle fight still. But the way I got into it is from Ricky Naldi, you know, like I kept on seeing Ricky Naldi, who's also from Birmingham, and I kept on seeing him and I thinking, yeah, is this bare knuckle actually legal? Like, is he allowed to do this? So I kept on seeing him doing it, went to me back on it. I don't know when I keep getting more excited every time I saw the sport. I kept on thinking, I'm gonna have a go at this. So I messaged Ricky one day. I said, I don't get involved in the BKB. He's got a message Jim Freeman. This was like 4.5 years ago now. So I messaged Jim and he come back to me, asked me for the footage, which he usually does. Obviously, he wants to see how you fight before he starts picking on these shows. And he put me on the show in November the 18th, 2018. That was my first one. Against a guy who was a stone and a half heavier than me. Ex-Bellator fighter, but you know, I just wanted to get involved in the game. And then from there, the next fight was the prize fighter tournament, where I had them 3 fights with Chapman, Smudger, and Franco. And obviously, it built from there then. Obviously, then I had the 2 in one night, the 2 bare knuckle fights in one night, which is no one's ever done before. And I'm sure it would never be done again because it can't be. You know, I tried to do it, going into that second fight. I had no hands, you know, they were ruined. But, and then obviously, I come back for the British title against the Castro, won that, and here we are on to this year. It's just been a case of everything just happening tumbling next to each other, you know, like, I don't know, let's go see what his bare knuckle like. Next, you know, I'm on a nice fight, fighting for a world title, you know, it has gone that quick. It's been a great journey, you know, I've enjoyed it, you know, it's changed my life in more ways than none, you know, it's kept me fit, it's kept me concentrating on things, it's kept me concentrating on something good. As I said before, instead of the bad things in life, you know, I don't go out and try and attack people anymore when I try to say something. I'm not that sort of person anymore, you know. I tend to put all my energy into the training and getting ready for these fights, and in turn, that makes me who the person I am. I really believe that my energy as a person, if you ever met me, I'm 100 miles an hour. So when you meet me as a person, you'll understand that fighting is what I should be in. And because I am doing this at this level, it takes away all the wrongness in my life, you see. Like, I get so much goodness from doing this sport, you know, like, and it's helped me a lot, yeah. The journey's been crazy, you know, like, I've met people that I only ever used to see on TV. I have Glenn McCory sending me messages. I remember I used to watch that guy commentate on fights and stuff like that. Like, I met Van Bruno, you know, I've met all these people through the sport, man, that I've never ever met in my life, you know, and I met them through the BKB and I'm being involved in the sport. So, yeah, it's been quality, but the major thing now is this world title. This world title is to me. So, let's get it done, yeah.
When you reflect back on where you started with BKB and to where you are now, you know, you're one of the main faces of the sport and now you're fighting for a world title. How does that make you feel?
Sometimes I sit there and think, you know, what the hell has happened, you know, like, as far as, like, I only wanted to go to see what his bare knuckle was all about. And let me see what they are. But you had the first fight. You don't have to let both ways. You have the first fight, you never want to do it again. You have the, or you want to, we get deeply sweet where you want to do it again. So, I was just, the lad said, you know, I got addicted straight away, and I was like, oh, where's the next one? Where's the next one? It was just flying over at one another. I think I've gone to my 9th fight now, you know. People call me a veteran, a legend, and I'm like, slow down a little bit, you know. I still want to do more in this sport. I feel like there is a lot more to come from me, you know, in this sport.
Do you ever kind of think like, God, you know, how have I done this? Or do you think it's like, do you try not to think about kind of how far you've come because it keeps you hungry? Or
you're right there. You're right. I always said to myself, it feels like I'm on a train. Yeah, that's going 1,000 miles per hour. And if I train up behind me, this train's going to crash. So I then try and think. When I won the British title, I sat there and I thought about what the hell has happened there. And I did think about the fights that I had, the people that I've been with, and stuff like that. And you get a sense of, you get, until you start going through your body, you do say, like, you're proud of yourself that you are doing it, you can't be too proud, you can't keep on sitting on it too soon, because the next fight you could lose. So you have to stay hungry like that. So I try not to look back too much. And realistically, I don't. I'll just keep it going. It's just like my last training camp. I didn't look back at the training camp. I just had them 4 weeks off and straight back into training camp. And I built it all together for this fight. I don't like to dwell on things a bit too much, I think the key, when you dwell on the past a bit too much, you stay there, And I think me just looking forward and staying focused and looking forward, it is be able to get me to where I am. I don't look at fights in myself and think, oh, I'm a great fighter. I don't look at things and I think, oh, I'm the best there. I'm the best things. I don't need to. I tend to, I'm glad that I've got where I've got to in the sport with my hard work, This has not come easy, I train like my life depended on it. I don't have a day off. I'd have a day off in training. I train 6 days a week. I have 1 day off and I train twice a day and then 6 days, That's for 2-3 months at a time. So with all the hard work, I start to think to myself, the hard work pays off, Adrian, that once the hard work does pay off, when you put the work in, sometimes along the journey, you feel like you ain't going to get there or you're not getting there or things are going wrong. But if you just stick to it and keep on doing the work that you do, you'll get there, You'll get there. I didn't think I was ever going to win a bout. I never thought about winning a bout. Look, I'm British champion now, fighting for a world title now. And then you get this world title, and then the interview after, I'd be world champ and British champ at the same time, God willing, and look at that for a story, and there's times in this fight game that I thought, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. There's times I have thought about it, I didn't want to do it anymore, like, too much time getting out, and I think I had a gym to run, just taking time off that, so, and what I do feel is the hard work's paying off. That's what I do feel like at the end of it, yeah.
When you do have those low moments where you're losing motivation or you're kind of thinking, what's the point? How do you kind of stay focused on what you're trying to do? Are there people in your circle, your trainers, or how do you hold that hunger and that drive to keep on going?
Adrian, I'm a born fighter. That's where I am. I'm born. So I'm not a pit bull or something. I'm bred to fight, mate. As long as I'm fighting, I don't get in no trouble. As long as I'm training, I don't get in no trouble. But my energy, who I am as a person, should be fighting. It's not getting a Labrador to go on a fight on a dog. It ain't going to do it because the energy's not there, I am that people that needs to fight in life, so just having a little down moments and little doubts in my mind, they go as quick as they come, because obviously I've got to go training sessions. I can't be sitting in doubts when I've got training sessions. So this fighting comes naturally to me. If I had to get out of my car right now and have a fight with someone out there, right this second, I could do it. I don't need increased training camps to go do that. I don't. But at the level in this BKB with the guys, the way they train, the level of these fighters are, you have to be doing camps. But if they had to just get out and have a fight now, no problem. So when he starts coming to these doubts, stuff like that, I tend to forget that. It ain't coming to my head. And law of attraction, don't think of negative things and self-talk and stuff like that. I'm big on them sort of things I am. And I literally give myself good. I'm having a bad day. I tell myself, you know what, it's going to be a good day today. Most of the time, 70% is a good day,
Let's talk a bit about the level of BKB. You spoke briefly about it and how the levels are so high in this sport. I think sometimes as a spectator, it's hard to kind of truly appreciate how good the roster is. Talk to me a bit about how do you approach BKB and how do you see it differently to other fights?
BKB, it's like a sprint, isn't it? There's no catching. Boxing, if you're looking on, you've got boxing and you've got bare knuckle. What's the difference between obviously one way is good, one doesn't. But it's the 2-minute rounds. It's a completely different sport that will, how do I put it? It's really, you have to try it. It's one of them, you'll try it and you'll become addicted to it. You'll be thinking, I want to do this again. And that's from there, man. If you go to a bare knuckle fight and you want to do it again, this is a sport for you, what I'm trying to say. So the levels stay. The people who are level, they have to fight. I stay, I have another fight. Look at the Scott McHugh. He's got about 11 fights. I remember when I first started off with him, I think he had 1 fight I had done at a time. Look at him now, 11 fights. Levels have gone up, And then for someone to go in there, there might be a classier boxer than Scott McHugh, but he's that tough with the levels of the bare knuckle. Them guys won't be able to deal with him, if you know what I'm trying to say. So, them people from the outside looking at you to do no bare knuckle will see the quality. It's just a sprint at the end of the day. It's like an old marathon, you know. You've got to get there first and get there fast, you know. Otherwise, you can get cut. You could be winning 2 rounds, get caught on the fair, and then stop the fight because the blood's going too much to your eye. The levels are going up continuously.
I want to talk a little bit about Connelly's gym. It's kind of become this kind of like mecca for bare knuckle boxing. What's that environment like? What's it like to train in that gym?
Oh, Connelly's is amazing, man. Obviously, me and my brothers own the gym, me, Patrick and Michael, we'll run it together. And you know what? From when we took over from October 2009, it blew up. My gym, our gym, mine and my brother's gym, it's like a youth club. You know, it's not just a place where people come and train. You'll go there and have a coffee and have a chat, or you might go in there and see someone. And the classes get on with each other. We've got like kids boxing classes, we've got women's boxing classes. We train under 12 football teams every Thursday night. You know, these are continuous. And they come and they see the atmosphere, they see the hard training they get, and they want to come back. And that's what we like to offer. And then it's, you know, a quality service, you know. We just don't want to take your money just to train. Yeah. We want to put quality, we want to see change within you know. And obviously with me doing my BKB and me doing my training camps, they see how I train and they get gravitated towards my gym through that. You know, they see, oh, this Connelly, he does train harder than enough Connelly. Fine. That's what we offer. I've got 5 older brothers there who 3 of them are at the gym most of the time, you know, and they all do PTs in the gym. And I mean, anything that they see from me, they can learn from me. Anything they can walk in the gym, it's a quality base to be, supposed to be. And we're looking on expanding now, getting bigger. We've outgrown this right now. We need to get bigger. So it goes to show the atmosphere and the traffic that we're actually getting in the place. I love it all I do, mate. You know, I put my heart and soul into that gym. I'm passionate. I've slept in the gym at times when I had to get it done and paint it, and I see it go from absolutely nothing to where it is now, and it will continuously get bigger and better. But yeah, and you ask any of our members, man, I absolutely love it in that gym. You know, and I'm glad to have them, because without them, we wouldn't have a gym. You know.
And of course, the company uses the gym for some of the media days. You've got some of the lads trained that I know. You've got Luke Smith training there. He's trained by your brother, Michael. Do you feel any kind of sense of responsibility to be the example, to be the host?
I do, and I am. You know, I am. As far as hosting, they come in the gym. We've done it that many times now over the space of years. You know the crack. You know, yeah. You come in, Tom Ross wants tea. I think Jim wants tea with no sugar. You know, we all know how they work now. We know the whole day goes out, but and we get so much from them days as well. But me, in terms of responsibility comes from my training. You'll never see me slack on my training days. You'll never see me come in and moan and anything around fighters or something like that. And I like to see other boys do see what I'm doing and try either copy or maybe just want to try things that I'm doing, and that's what it's all about. Like, integrity, big thing when it comes to us Connellys. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to be sharing half-hearted stuff or not training or no fitness or something like that. We go hard every time, man. We like to push that out through our gym, you know. So I do feel a sense of responsibility, you know. Like, the reason why Luke Smith is involved in the sport, because I made the phone call for him, you know. And look how good he's becoming. He's 1-0 now, ready to fight for his second fight. I see a British title coming to the fight after that, you know. Like, and that's it. He's coming. And that's only the one person that my whole time is big. I put his name forward. Because I saw something where I thought, this guy's been a trainer. I would not, if I thought this guy would have been up days off training, or he's done it just because he wants to be known as a bare knuckle fighter, I wouldn't have made the call. I wouldn't have made the call, you know, because realistically, if it would have been for them reasons alone, then this player could have come in missing days, missing weight. Guess who takes responsibility? Guess who's going to look the idiot for that? When see the Connellys and me, you know, so yeah, that responsibility. I mean, I don't mind that, you know, and with Luke Smith, he's shown that he never misses a day. Him and my brother get on like a house on fire. You know, they try like you wouldn't believe. You know, I remember when Luke Smith walked into the gym and I looked at my brother, I said, Mike, there's your new fighter. They never met each other before. I said, Mike, you want to try and improve the next down up a fight? And he went, yeah, of course. And I've trained like that night, and I could have asked for a better little team with them two. Obviously, I don't have my brother train me anymore. I train with him at Prackens, but with them two gelling together that I have, just goes to show the integrity that comes from a gym. And it comes from me, you know, like we chose someone that is going hard in the sport, you know, and I'll never ever put someone's name forward or vouch for him. if they're not showing 100% commitment to the sport, or they're coming for a different reason other than being known as a hard bastard, which is not about that.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. After you finish fighting, you retire. How do you see your involvement existing with BKB after you've finished as a fighter? Because you've already taken on a lot of responsibilities.
I might be the biggest BKB promoter in Birmingham, you know. You never know. You never know. So, we've obviously got experience in the sport and stuff like this now, and obviously we're having the gym and stuff like that on our own shows, not as far as there, you know, that's Jim and Joe's game and stuff like that, but there's a lot more that I can do, you know. Like, okay, it takes a lot of my time, a lot of my effort, you know. We can't live in this, 3-month training camp, 2-month training camp. Look at the amount of stuff that I could do other than that, you know, like, yeah, I'll always be in the sport. I don't know. You've got Sean Jaws had to retire, bless his heart, but he's now going to be on the commentary team for BKB 31. So, you know, get me on the commentary team, get me doing so. I don't mind doing anything. Like, if I could come and do some of that after I retire from the sport, then I'm more than welcome to do, you know, and I'll be pleased to do it, you know. Tell fighters about certain things that they can do in the game, things that I learned, I try the tribulations, you know, things like that, you know. So I'm always going to be there to help them. But realistically, you probably could see James Connelly becoming a BKB promoter, you know what I mean? Then let Jim and Joe see this, because they're going to start coming after me when I start making my own BKB promotion.
Well, James, best of luck. James Connelly fights for the World Lightweight title this Sunday at BKB 31 at the OT. Can't wait to see it. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Adrian. Take care, mate. Have a great day.